Welcome back friends. It's been long since my last lecture. Now onwards I'll try to make it on time. So let's start. In my previous lecture we have seen the anatomical structure of basal ganglia. Now onwards we are going to use only the physiological classification of basal ganglia because that classification is important for the connection of basal ganglia, to understand the connection of basal ganglia. So quickly I am going to tell you physiological classification. It includes caudate nucleus, putamen, globus pallidus internal, globus pallidus external, and subthalamic nucleus and substantia nigra. So today in my lecture we'll see the connection of basal ganglia with the other parts of central nervous system. Before going to connection, I would like to give you a brief function about basal ganglia. As basal ganglia is a part of an extrapyramidal system. Fine. What is the function of basal ganglia? You know, the function of basal ganglia is to initiate a movement, to plan a movement. But you have seen corticospinal tract. Corticospinal tract is also responsible for the motor activity. So today in my lecture, I would like to make it clear what is the function of corticospinal tract or a cerebral cortex and what is the function of basal ganglia. So I am going to give you one example. If you want to hold a bottle, the bottle is here and I want to hold it. So it is an idea. It is an idea generated in my frontal lobe of cerebral cortex. The idea is, the main function of cerebral cortex is to generate an idea. So this is my idea. I want to just hold this bottle. Fine. Now this idea. Now cerebral cortex is not capable to plan a movement. Cerebral cortex doesn't know how to hold this bottle. So this, what cerebral cortex will do? Cerebral cortex will send this idea to basal ganglia and ask basal ganglia how to hold this bottle. Can you please tell me? So now what basal ganglia will do? Basal ganglia will plan the whole action. Like if I want to hold the bottle, I need some amount of shoulder flexion, some amount of elbow flexion, some amount of wrist extension and finger flexion. So this is the planning of movement which is generated by the basal ganglia, and then the whole planning will be sent to the thalamus from the basal ganglia, and from thalamus it will again go to the frontal lobe. In frontal lobe at the level of origination of corticospinal tract, and then finally corticospinal tract carries this sensation to the motor part of our body. Okay, let's see in this diagram. You can see in this diagram, this is cortex from where the idea is generated. I want to hold a bottle. So this is an idea which is generated here. But this cortex is not capable of plan a movement. So what? This is basal ganglia, this is thalamus, and this is brainstem. So this cortex will send this signal to the basal ganglia. Fine. And this cortex will ask basal ganglia for help. Cortex asks to basal ganglia how to hold a bottle. Can you please plan a movement for me? So what basal ganglia will do? Basal ganglia will plan the whole movement. Fine. Now this whole planning will be sent to thalamus. This is thalamus. Okay. This is thalamus. This whole planning will be sent to thalamus, and thalamus will send the final report again back to cortex. Okay. This is the final report sent to cerebral cortex by the thalamus, and you know the corticospinal tract is originated here. So this signal will be passed to the corticospinal tract. Okay. So this tract will go here. Okay. It decussate and it supplies the opposite side of the muscle. Fine. So this is the main function of basal ganglia. Now, why this sensation is going to cerebral cortex through this thalamus? Why it is not directly going from basal ganglia to cortex? Because thalamus is called as a relay center. Means there are many. The brain, the central nervous system has to do many functions. So the parts of central nervous system has divided their function. Fine. What the function of cerebral cortex? Mainly frontal lobe. It is mainly for idea of the movement. The basal ganglia is for planning of the movement. The thalamus will collect all the peripheral sensation, analyze it, integrate it, and send it final report to the cerebral cortex. So that is why you can see this is a loop. Okay, this is the loop. Fine. The cerebral cortex, from cerebral cortex it is going to the basal ganglia. Basal ganglia will plan a movement. Then it will go to the thalamus. Thalamus will again send this signal back to the cortex. It gives this signal to corticospinal tract, and corticospinal tract will supply to the opposite side of the muscle. So this is the main function of basal ganglia. It means corticospinal tract is not responsible for planning of movement. Basal ganglia is actually responsible for initiation of movement and the planning of the movement. So this is a loop. Now this loop is very important because in connection of basal ganglia you need to know about this. Fine. So now we'll see the connection of basal ganglia. As you know, the basal ganglia is responsible for the planning of a movement or an initiation of movement. So we need to do two types of action. Right? One is facilitatory action and one is inhibitory action. Just like that, I am holding this bottle. So right now my flexors of wrist are working, and at the same time my extensors are relaxed. Fine, my flexors are working and my extensors are relaxed. That is why I am able to hold it. If my both the side of muscle, agonist and antagonist, both are working equally, both are applying equal force, I am not able to bend my fingers, right? So one needs to be inhibited and one needs to be facilitated. Fine. So basal ganglia is responsible for facilitation of the movement as well as the inhibition of the movement. That is why there are two type of connection of basal ganglia. One is direct circuit and second is indirect circuit. First we will see direct pathway, and the direct pathway is mainly responsible to facilitate a movement. Fine. Now before going into direct pathway, I would like to show you the parts of it. This is cerebral cortex, this is basal ganglia, this is thalamus, this is subthalamic nucleus, this is substantia nigra. It has two parts, substantia nigra part compacta and substantia nigra part reticularis. Now this is putamen, globus pallidus external and globus pallidus internal. Actually the striatum is situated here. The putamen and caudate nucleus is situated here. So caudate nucleus and putamen both are together called as neocortex or a striatum. Both are called as striatum, and this both has similar function, right? For an example, the afferent fiber is coming from cerebral cortex to caudate nucleus. So it is also coming from cerebral cortex to putamen. Suppose the afferent fiber is coming from subthalamic substantia nigra to caudate nucleus, it will also coming going to the putamen from the substantia nigra part compacta. So we consider this as a one unit. Caudate nucleus and putamen, we consider it as a one unit, that is striatum. Striatum. So if I use a term striatum, okay, it means it is caudate nucleus as well as putamen. So I am not going to show a different structure of caudate nucleus here. Understand it that this is striatum and that is the combination of caudate plus putamen. Clear? Now I want to facilitate a movement. So here the main role is thalamus, because we have seen that all the planning will be sent to thalamus from the basal ganglia, and ultimately thalamus is sending this signal to cerebral cortex. It means the thalamus is controlling cerebral cortex. If thalamus sends excitatory signal to cortex, you can initiate the movement. If thalamus is sending inhibitory signal to cortex, you are not able to perform a movement. So we need to control the thalamus. If you want to facilitate it, just stimulate thalamus, and if you want to inhibit, just inhibit the thalamus. So the function of cerebral cortex or a function of corticospinal tract is depending on the thalamus. Now first, what happens when you are at rest? what will happen when you are at rest? Whenever you are at rest, there will be no movement in your body. Means you will not observe any movement in your body. Why is it like that? Because at the time of, during the time of rest, the globus pallidus internal, please listen it carefully, the globus pallidus internal inhibits the thalamus. During the time of rest, the globus pallidus internal will inhibit thalamus. You can see in this diagram, at rest this globus pallidus internal, fine. Now this globus pallidus internal is consist of GABA. GABA, okay, the GABA which is inhibitory in nature. It is inhibitory in nature. So during the rest, this circuit, this fiber will be activated, and this fiber will be called as GABAergic fiber. Okay, GABAergic fibers means it consists of GABA. So during the time of rest, only these fibers are activated. So this globus pallidus internal will be activated. So it will release more amount of GABA. It will release more amount of GABA, and GABA is inhibitory in nature. Okay, and this GABA is secreted inside the thalamus. So as I said, GABA is inhibitory in nature, so it will inhibit the thalamus. So less amount of signal will be sent to the cortex. Less amount of signal will be sent to the cortex, and here is corticospinal tract. So less amount of firing through the corticospinal tract, and there will be the inhibition of the movement. So this is what happened at the time of rest. So you can see this globus pallidus internal work as a brake. Brake. You know what is the function of brake? Brake means stop. Okay. Just imagine a car without brakes. If car does not have brakes, it cannot be controlled. So that car is thalamus. Fine. We want to control this car or this thalamus at the time of rest. So at that time, this globus pallidus internal work as a brake. Fine. So this is the mechanism during at rest. Now we'll see the direct pathway. Fine. So the one fiber is coming from cerebral cortex to striatum, and this fiber, the red is always excite. The red color means excitatory fiber and blue color means inhibitory fiber. So this red color fibers are excitatory in nature, and it is glutaminergic, means it contains glutamate. This is the fiber which connects cerebral cortex and striatum, is called as a striatocortical or a cortical striatum fibers. Fine. So this is glutamate. It is excitatory in nature. The another fiber, this is the direct loop. So in direct loop, the striatum is directly connected with the globus pallidus internals. It just bypasses globus pallidus external. It does not synapse with the globus pallidus externals. It will directly go to the globus pallidus internal. And this is inhibitory fiber, means it consists of GABA. Okay, and the another fiber again, which is globus, the fiber. So this fiber is called as striatopallidum fiber because originated from the striatum and it ends at a globus pallidus internal. So this fiber is called as striatopallidum fiber. From here, globus pallidus internal, again one fiber is going to thalamus, and again this is inhibitory in nature. It also consists of GABA, and GABA is inhibitory in nature. And the last fiber, and this fiber is called as pallidothalamic fiber because it is originated from the pallidum and it ends at the level of thalamus. So this is pallidothalamic fiber. And the last, the fiber which is going to cerebral cortex from the thalamus, and it is again excitatory in nature. It also contains glutamate. It also, so this fiber, both the fibers coming from cerebral cortex and going to cerebral cortex are excitatory in nature, and they consist of glutamate. So first you need to know about the fibers and the nature of this fiber. This fiber is excitatory in nature, corticostriatum fiber. This fiber, striatopallidum fiber, is inhibitory in nature. It consists of GABA. This fiber, the fiber which is originated from the globus pallidus internus and going to thalamus, this is pallidothalamic fiber. Again, it is inhibitory in nature. And this fiber which is going from thalamus to cortex is again excitatory in nature. It consists of glutamate. Fine. So this is the circuit of direct pathway. Means direct pathway. This pathway do not consist of any fibers of subthalamic nucleus and substantia nigra. Now we'll see the physiological function of this direct pathway. The direct pathway is mainly to facilitate the movement. So let's see how it will function. Right? So whenever you want to just hold any object, whenever you want to hold an object, there is an idea which is generated in cortex. Fine. So this idea is generated here, and the signal is passing from cortex to striatum through the corticostriatum fiber. Now, as it is excitatory nature, it consists of glutamate. So excitatory signal will be this. Up arrow means excitatory, or a plus means excitatory, and down arrow means inhibitory, or minus means inhibitory. Fine. So this excitatory signal will be sent to the striatum, and this cortex excites striatum through the glutamate or through this fiber. Clear? So whenever the idea is generated, this signal will be passed from cortex to striatum, and it is excitatory in nature, or else this cortex stimulates striatum. Now this cortex has stimulated this striatum. So now striatum is stimulated, and it consists of, it is a synapse, presynaptic, postsynaptic. Okay, so striatum consists of GABA. Okay, so this striatum will secrete more amount of GABA. Why? Because it is stimulated. Whenever the striatum is stimulated, it will secrete more amount of GABA, and whenever the striatum is inhibited, it will secrete less amount of GABA. So now this striatum is secreted, so more amount of GABA is secreted through the striatopallidum pathway. Okay, so more amount of this GABA is secreted. Now you know what is the nature of GABA. It is inhibitory in nature. So more amount of GABA is secreted here. The more amount of GABA secreted means it will inhibit globus pallidus internal. So what happened? It will inhibit it. Okay. Now this globus pallidus internal also consists of GABA. But as the globus pallidus internal is inhibited by the striatum, it is inhibited by the striatum. So now this globus pallidus internal is not capable to secrete more amount of GABA. We have seen during the resting position, this globus pallidus internal secrete more GABA to the thalamus, and thalamus will be inhibited. But right now this striatum has the striatum has inhibited this globus pallidus internus, and this globus pallidus internal consists of GABA, but less amount of GABA is now secreted from the globus pallidus internals. Okay, so what will happen? It will disinhibit the thalamus because the amount of GABA is very less. The amount of GABA is very less over thalamus. So now thalamus will be stimulated because of less amount of GABA. So now excitatory signal, because it is stimulated, it will send excitatory signal to the cerebral cortex. So more amount of glutamate is secreted because less amount of GABA. So automatically more amount of glutamate will be secreted, and then ultimately it will stimulate this area, and from it the corticospinal tract is originated. So this stimulative signal will be passed to the corticospinal tract, and corticospinal tract will send excitatory signal to the opposite side of the muscles. So by this way, this is the direct loop. By this way it works. Again we'll see in this flow chart. We'll see this direct loop in the flow chart. First, cortex. Fine. We will compare it. This is cortex. Cortex will send excitatory signal to striatum. We'll write down here. Excitatory signals to striatum. Fine. So what it will secrete? Glutamate. Okay. So it will send excitatory signal to striatum. So striatum will be stimulated. Striatum will be stimulated. Okay. Now striatum consists of GABA. Fine. So what will happen? This is stimulated. So more amount of GABA will be secreted. More amount of GABA secreted on globus pallidus internal. Okay. And it will inhibit globus pallidus internal. Fine. Now this globus pallidus internal consists of more GABA, but as this striatum has inhibit this GPI will not able to secrete more amount of GABA. Okay. So less inhibition of thalamus, less inhibition of thalamus, and because less inhibition of thalamus, the excitatory signal will be sent to signals will be sent to cortex and movement can take place. Fine. So this is all about the direct pathway. Cortex stimulated through the glutamate, it sends excitatory signal to striatum. Striatum consists of more amount of GABA. So whenever you stimulate striatum, it will secrete more amount of GABA. That GABA will go to the globus pallidus interna, and this GABA will be inhibit the globus pallidus internus. Now this globus pallidus also consists of more amount of the fibers also consist of more amount of GABA. Now as these fibers are inhibited, so this globus pallidus internus is now not able to secrete more amount of GABA. So it will not inhibit, it cannot inhibit the thalamus. Fine. So thalamus is automatically excited and thalamus will send excitatory signal to the cortex, and then this signal will be sent to the corticospinal tract and you can perform a movement. So this is the simple direct pathway to facilitate the movement. Fine. Now we'll see the role of dopamine over the direct pathway. Now we'll see the role of dopamine over this circuit, on this direct pathway. Fine. So substantia nigra, you know the substantia nigra is situated in tegmentum part of midbrain. It has two parts, substantia nigra par compacta and substantia nigra par reticularis. So this is the substantia nigra. It is the functional part of the basal ganglia. So this is substantia nigra par compacta and this is substantia nigra par reticularis. Now substantia nigra par compacta consists of dopamine, and the role of dopamine on this circuit is very important. It acts as a fine tuner. As we have seen, this circuit is totally excitatory in nature and it facilitates the movement. So what dopamine will do? Dopamine further excite this circuit and it will help this whole circuit to perform a movement very finely. Fine. So the role of dopamine over on this direct pathway is facilitatory in nature. We'll see it. So the one fiber which is originated from the substantia nigra par compacta and it is going to the striatum. Okay, so it is going to the receptor situated in striatum. So this receptor is called as a D1 receptor. Okay, the receptor is situated here and this receptor is called as D1 receptor. Okay, so this fiber has an excitatory function over this receptor. Now what happened? We'll directly see this pathway from here. It consists of dopamine. It secretes dopamine over this pathway, striatopallidum pathway. Okay. In previous circuit we have seen this striatum is consisting of GABA. Fine. But right now do not look over here. Okay, just to see this circuit, what is the role of dopamine over this circuit? It acts as a fine tuner. So it facilitates, this fiber facilitates or excites this receptor which is D1 receptor. Now what is the function of D1? It consists of dopamine. So whenever you stimulate this receptor, it will secrete more and more amount of dopamine. Fine. And this dopamine will be secreted throughout the fiber. Okay. So you know the dopamine, it is inhibitory in nature. So more amount of dopamine and dopamine is inhibitory in nature. In this pathway, the GABA, that is gamma aminobutyric acid, is more secreted from this striatopallidum fiber, but through this fiber more dopamine is secreted through the striatopallidum fiber. Now this dopamine is also inhibitory in nature. So more amount of dopamine is secreted over globus pallidus internal. So again this globus pallidus internal will be inhibited. Just same like the previous circuit. Okay, only difference is in previous circuit the striatum release GABA and in this circuit this striatopallidum fiber releases dopamine. So this fiber will be inhibited. Now this GPI is not able to secrete more amount of GABA over the thalamus. So this thalamus, it is in another way, it is not able to inhibit this thalamus. So thalamus will be excited and excitatory signal will be sent to the cortex and the movement will be facilitated. Fine. So by this way the dopamine also helps this cortex to facilitate the movement. These both are working as an antagonist. Okay, this cortex signal is also excitatory nature and this also excites it. Okay, so this is all about the direct pathway. Again I am going to revise because it is very important to know. Fine. First, from the starting, if you want to hold any object or if you want to do any movement, the idea is generated in cortex. Okay, so the cortex, this idea, the signal will be passed from cortex to striatum through the corticostriatum fibers and it consists of glutamate which is excitatory in nature. So this excitatory signal will be passed to the striatum and it will stimulate striatum. Now striatum has one connection with the globus pallidus internal. It has a fiber which is called a striatopallidum fiber and this fiber is inhibitory in nature. It consists of GABA. So whenever you stimulate striatum, it secretes more amount of GABA. So the more amount of GABA is going to the globus pallidus internus and the GABA is inhibitory in nature. That is why it will inhibit this globus pallidus internus. Now this globus pallidus internus also consists of more amount of GABA, but as striatum has inhibited this GPI, this GPI will not able to secrete more amount of GABA on the or over the thalamus. So thalamus will be thalamus will be stimulated or less inhibited. Okay, thalamus will be less inhibited because less amount of GABA is secreted here. So automatically thalamus will be stimulated, so more amount of glutamate is secreted over the cortex, and this cortical part is stimulated. It will send excitatory signal to corticospinal tract, and it send this signal to opposite side of the muscle of a limb, and you can perform the movement. Now, what is the role of substantia nigra par compacta over this circuit? So it has also excitatory role over this circuit. It has a connection. Substantia nigra par compacta is connected to the striatum through the fibers, and this fiber consists of dopamine, and the receptor is situated, the name of the receptor which is situated here is D1 receptor. So whenever you stimulate it, it secretes more amount of dopamine over this fiber, and you know the dopamine is actually inhibitory in nature. So more amount of dopamine is secreted throughout this fiber. Fine. So this fiber is stimulated through the dopamine, and this dopamine will inhibit this GPI. And because the GPI is inhibited, it will secrete less amount of GABA, and it stimulates the thalamus, or it will there is a less inhibition of the thalamus, and same the thalamus will be sending excitatory signal to the cortex, and this signal will be passed to the opposite side of the muscle. So by this way you can perform the movement, and this is all about the direct circuit. Now friends, in my next lecture we'll see indirect circuit. Both the circuit are working simultaneously, okay, because if I want to hold the object, my flexors are working simultaneously, my extensors needs to be inhibited. Okay, so one circuit, the one pathway will excite the muscle, one group of muscle, and the one pathway will inhibit the another group of muscle or the another movement. Fine, that we will see in my next lecture. Hope you understood my lecture. Okay, we'll see indirect circuit in my next lecture. And if you are new to my channel, kindly subscribe it, like my video, and share this more video to your friends. You can also visit my Instagram account for more updates. Thank you and happy learning.